What is going on then, guys? I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video here on our channel. I'm a FIFA Analyst, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the most common mistakes that players make in the midfield area, transitioning from defense to attack, trying to get the ball on the edge of the box, to put the ball in the back of the net. The game can be won or lost in this middle area, so we're going to be talking about that to you today, showing you some examples on things that you guys shouldn't be doing to hopefully then obviously give you more chance of winning the game on FIFA. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel, and if you do want to check out the Facebook live streams, a link in the description along with all of the other social media platforms. So then, in the background, we have got some footage of what you shouldn't be doing. All right, we're taking a look at a goal player here, and we're going to be looking at some of the stuff that they make, some of the mistakes that they make on a regular basis, to obviously break down and talk to you guys on things that you shouldn't be doing and what you should be doing instead to replace that. Also, a massive thank you for the support on yesterday's video. Go and give it a watch if you haven't already. It's called My Message to FIFA Fans. I'll put a link up above. Something a little bit different for me, something a little bit more unique. So go and give that if you a watch if you want to. So one of the first examples that I want to talk about with you is when you pick up the ball with a player and you've got plenty of room to run into, and you're going to lay a pass off to an opponent, to a player that you think looks in a great situation. You can just see here you have the ball with the Robert Firmino, and he wants to look for the Mbappe, right? We've also got the Lucas Moura running in behind. Now, the one thing to kind of pay attention to here is that the player has got a lot of time on the ball. He's got plenty of room to be able to run through and kind of keep going and run into that particular area on the pitch. Now, this is what I'd class as rushing your attacks, right? When you're in the midfield zone and you see an opportunity occurring, and you're like, great, I've got men running in behind. So many people just try to take that touch and then release the ball straight away. So the first kind of point we're going to talk about is assess if you've got time on the ball to keep running with it into that space. Now, we don't want to sprint here, we just want to keep dribbling, and what we're ideally waiting to do, which is a massive key factor here, is you are waiting to play the perfect time pass if you are going to look for that pass. And how are we going to do that? You can see here we've got Mbappe, and you can see we've also got the Lucas Moura. Now look where they are in comparison to the defenders, right? They're not in line with them, they're actually quite far back. Now Mbappe is absolutely rapid, he can make up a lot of space, but if you lay this ball through here, so if you try a through ball and you want to get it into this pocket of space, it's very difficult for Mbappe to use his speed to get into that space ahead of the defender. You need to give him a chance. How are we going to do that? That's what I mean by keep dribbling. You're going to keep dribbling into this sort of area, and you're going to wait for him to put himself in line with the defender and then time the pass perfectly. So the player makes a really, really good chance here by this, obviously, and this is just kind of rushing the attack. And we're going to look for a ground pass, which is a mistake originally here, because when you try to ground pass when someone is running ahead, when you've sent them on a run with L1, LB, and they're making that run on the get in behind instruction, or just the high players in box, he will play that pass, but he's heading that way. So you always end up overshooting the kind of the pass. And it's such a frustrating thing to happen on FIFA, but it happens all the time for people. So definitely take that into account. So another thing to talk about is unnecessary skill moves. This is something that a lot of FIFA players do because they watch the videos, they watch a lot of people say, you need to do skill moves, you need to do skill moves. And then they end up doing them in pointless areas where they don't need to do them. So one of the biggest issues that you'll find for people is that they don't know when to input the skill move. Ideally, what you're waiting for is you're waiting for the defender to commit, right? You can see here, you need him to come towards you to then go ahead and do the skill move. I always tell people, when someone does a skill move, that is your time to step in. So you can see here now he's done the roulette. He did the roulette to no one. Casper the Ghost was the only person he fooled there. And now this is the time for the opponent to put that pressure on and try and win that ball back. And I see people do unnecessary skill moves in the middle of the park, in their defense, ball rolls, drag backs when they don't need to. You can use a ball roll to readjust the angle, but as a whole, keep the skill moves in the middle of the park to an absolute minimum. Unless you are in a tight spot and you have nothing else to do, you don't need to be doing these skill moves in those sort of areas. There's another example here where we can just see from the player. I'm just quickly going to find it for you guys, where he just picked the ball up and then he goes here in the middle, just doing like these unnecessary skill moves straight away from kickoff. And you'll see this a lot of the times. They just go ahead and do like a little flick up. Like there's no need for anything like that. So just keep your skill moves in the middle of the park to an absolute minimum. You only really need to do them if they do put that pressure on, and you wait for them to commit. That is your time to kind of take the ball and put it past the opponent. But other than that, still keep dribbling. No need to go ahead and, try these roulettes in the middle of the park and everything. Just keep it nice and simple. The next thing that I want to talk about is not actually realizing the width that you have available on the pitch. A lot of people play the 4-2-3-1, the 4-4-2, the 4-1-2-1-2, and they try and keep a lot of their passing build up with their attacking players and their CMs. What I'd invite you to do is to often look for the left back and the right back. They are going to be one of the easiest people to find the ball. As I said, the battle is won in this area of the pitch, right? That's where it's going to be the most congested. So you're going to try these passes into people that a lot of the times are going to have someone immediately putting the pressure on them, immediately there, keeping an eye on the opponent's cursor when doing so. So what I'd invite you to do is take a touch and then release the ball out wide to the left back, to the right back, and then get the ball down behind, down the line, or work it then back into the middle. They are your easiest outlet to get the ball forward, transition forward, and actually build from midfield into attack. You want to give yourself the best possible chance to get into the final third. Once you get into the final third, that's where you can start moving the ball, trying to get the ball into the box, trying to get a cross in, trying to get the cutback, whatever it is that you are going to do when you get into that final third. We just need to get there. So take your time when you are having the ball in the middle of the pitch, take a touch. Play the way you're facing is one of the easiest things you guys can put into your game. None of these first-time passes, none of these driven passes to the striker when the opponent is covering that passing lane. The thing that I noticed probably the most with lower level players and what they do in the middle of the park is when they receive the ball, they hold the sprint button. Let go of that sprint button. The only time we should be holding sprint is when you are running into a gap in behind the defenders, or there's a massive gap between their midfield and defense, and you've got time to take that, one or two touches with the sprint button. But as a whole, don't hold the sprint button, all right? When you receive the ball from a pass, let go of the sprint button, let go of anything else, and just use the left stick. If someone is coming to put pressure on you from behind, you can then hold the L2 button, the LT button, to shield the ball if you wish to. That's where they get their arms out and they give a bit more of a battle to say, no, you're not going to have the ball. That's if someone is trying to come in from behind from you. One of the easiest things for you to do. And then keeping an eye on the opponent's cursor every time you play the pass. If you try and play a pass into an opponent that is already covering that particular pass, it's just unnecessary from you here. You can see another unnecessary skill move. So keep an eye on that cursor. Keep an eye on that passing lane. If the passing lane is blocked, go back out to someone else. When using the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-4-2, just be mindful of when you lay the ball into the cam and the strikers. Sometimes you can be laying these passes into their feet when they're already marked, when they've already got men around them, and then you don't actually have time to lay the ball off, because as soon as you take the touch, it's like, whoom, swarmed on you, and you've got 2 or 3 men on you, and then you end up losing a ball. Use the full width, use the full backs, and that will help you massively in the build-up to attack. So, let me know if there's anything else that you guys think that you should be putting in. Just to kind of recap for you, don't rush the pass to the strikers or the cams when they're swarmed. Make sure you give yourself time and use that full width of the pitch. Don't hold the sprint button when you are receiving the ball. That's one of the most common mistakes in midfield for people to make. That's how you can lose the ball and transition it straight back over to the opponent. Don't do unnecessary skill moves. Keep it simple. If you need to use a ball roll to readjust the angle to play the way you're facing, you can do. But as a whole, you don't need to do, McGeady spins, elasticos, step overs in the middle of the pitch if you've got plenty of time on the ball, and then just rush your passes when you have plenty of time. If you pick the ball up and you've got time to run into and carry on dribbling into that space, don't go ahead and rush that pass forward. Wait for the attackers to get in line with the defense, then you're going to look to play that killer through ball in behind. And then remember to use the full width on the pitch. One of the easiest ways for you to do it. There, he could have gone out to the right back and then out to the winger, and he would have had a chance to get in behind from that. So if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a big thumbs up. I do want to thank you all very much for watching. It's greatly appreciated. Let me know what videos you want to see next on the YouTube channel. If there's anything in the final third, anything in defending that you guys want me to look at, I'm more than happy to. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.